Hey everyone, welcome to OptinexTech. In this video, we are building a dynamic and reusable drop-down component in React with a search feature. The drop-down will allow users to select from a list of options, search through them, and will automatically close when clicking outside. Let's dive into the code and start building. First, we create drop-down folder inside components folder. Inside drop-down folder, create two files index.js for JSX and dropdown.css for custom styles. Moving to index.js, first we import useState, useRef, and useEffect from React, which will allow us to handle the drop-down state, manage the reference for detecting outside clicks, and handle side effects for event listeners. Also, we import dropdown.css for custom styles. Next, we define our drop-down component which accepts several props. Options for array of available options for drop-down, selected for currently selected option to display in drop-down, onChange a function to handle event when user selects option, and placeholder a string to display when no option is selected. We'll also set up two pieces of state, is open to track whether the drop-down is open, and search term to track the user input for filtering. The drop-down ref helps us detect clicks outside the drop-down. In useEffect, we are defining a function handle click outside that checks if the click event happened outside the drop-down. If the drop-down is open and the click is detected outside of its boundary, it closes the drop-down by setting set as open, false. We attach this function to the mouse down event on the entire document using document.addEventListener, ensuring the drop-down closes when clicking anywhere else on the page. To avoid memory leaks, we clean up by removing the event listener in the return function when the component unmounts or re-renders. To allow users to search through options, we filter the options array using the search item. The filter method compares the lowercase version of both the option and the search item for case-insensitive matching. The function handle option click handles selecting an option from the drop-down. Once an option is clicked, we trigger the onChange prop, which sends the selected value back to the parent component. We also close the drop-down immediately by setting is open to false. In the return block, we render the main drop-down div, attaching the drop-down ref to allow us to detect clicks outside later. The drop-down header div shows either the currently selected option or the placeholder text if nothing is selected. When clicked, it toggles the isOpen state, which controls whether the drop-down options are displayed. Next to the selected option or placeholder, we add a drop-down arrow icon, and we dynamically apply the open class to rotate the arrow when the drop-down is open. When the isOpen state is true, we render the drop-down body. Inside, we have an input field for search, allowing users to filter the available options as they type. This input is bound to search item, and any changes update this state. Below the search, we display filtered options by checking the filtered options array. If there are matching options, they are mapped and rendered as individual drop-down option divs. Each option can be clicked to trigger handle option click, updating the selected option and closing the drop-down. If no matching options are found, a no options found message is shown. Finally, we export the drop-down component as the default export, making it available for import and use in other parts of the application. Moving to dropdown.css, we start by defining the basic styles for the drop-down container. It has a fixed width of 250px, relative positioning to handle the drop-down body. The drop-down header has a light gray background, a solid border, and padding for spacing. It's designed with flexbox to space elements evenly, and the border radius adds rounded corners for a modern look. When hovering over the drop-down header, the background color slightly changes for a visual cue. The drop-down icon is a small triangle, and we apply a smooth transition for animations, specifically for when the drop-down opens. When the drop-down is open, we rotate the icon by 180 degrees to visually indicate that the drop-down is expanded. The drop-down body appears when the drop-down is open. It has a white background, a solid border, and is positioned absolutely below the header. It supports scrolling with a max height, and a shadow gives it depth. It also has border radius for smooth edges and top margin 5 pixels. The search input field is styled to take up most of the drop-down's width, with padding for user comfort. A subtle border and border radius give it a clean, minimalistic appearance. The options container can handle a large list by restricting the height to 200 pixels, with a scroll bar if necessary. Each drop-down option has padding for space and a bottom border for separation. It's clickable, so we add a pointer cursor. When hovering over an option, it highlights with a blue background and white text to provide feedback for selection. For the selected option, we apply a green background with white text to indicate the current selection. If no options match the search item, this message is displayed in a light gray color, indicating no results. Finally, we handle responsive design. On smaller screens, the drop-down will take up the full width of its container for better usability on mobile. We begin by importing the drop-down component from the components drop-down file. This component will allow us to implement a reusable drop-down menu. Next, we import the useState hook from React. This will enable us to manage the state within our component. We start by creating a state variable selected option with an initial value of null, using the useState hook. This variable will store the currently selected option from our drop-down. Next, we define an array called options, which contains a list of popular front-end frameworks and libraries. These will be the options displayed in the drop-down. Then, we have a div with a class of container that wraps our drop-down component and a paragraph element. Drop-down component is rendered with props, options, selected, onChange and placeholder. Below the drop-down, we conditionally render a paragraph that displays the currently selected option if selected option is not null. This allows users to see their choice displayed on the screen. The container class uses Flexbox to center its contents both vertically and horizontally. It arranges items in a column with a gap of 16 pixels between them. Let's see the drop-down in action. When you click on the drop-down, you'll see a list of frameworks. As you type in the search field, the options will filter based on your input. Once you select an option, it will appear in the drop-down header, and the selected option will be displayed below. If you click outside the drop-down, it will close automatically. And that's a wrap. Now we have our fully customized, dynamic reusable drop-down component which can be used in any React app. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Stay tuned for upcoming videos.